Thank you again for connecting with today's The Reframe Brain podcast episode. This is Erica Savage, the founder and host, extending a personal invitation for you to join our community where you can receive my 5 best brain health tips and a playlist curated with you in mind. Please go to thereframedbrain.com. Thank you again and be well.
Well, happy Monday and welcome to the Reframe Brain podcast, where we center brain health and unseen injuries. I am your founder and host, Erica Savage, and I am so elated that you have connected with us. And if you just so happen to be watching us or listening to us by YouTube, please join the community where you'll get my 5 best brain health tips and a playlist curated with you in mind at thereframebrain.com. So on this wonderful Monday, I am so excited to bring in our guest for today. And so let me get right into the introduction. Her name is Dionne. Dionne is a gerontologist, licensed social worker, author, certified personal trainer, and wellness coach. She is the founder and owner of Age with Vibrancy, LLC in Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to Cleveland. Age with Vibrancy is a holistic wellness company with a mission to provide curated fitness and wellness programs for women aged 45 and older looking to age well and vibrantly. Age with Vibrancy uses holistic mind and body philosophies to assist clients in reaching their health and fitness goals across their lifespan. She is a fervent supporter of her community. As such, she is the current president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women Incorporated, Greater Cleveland chapter. She also serves as co-chair of the National Health Committee. She is a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Past affiliations include Mocha Moms, Jack and Jill of America Incorporated, Cleveland chapter. She still gushes at the mention of her husband of 26 years and is the proud mom of 2 adult sons. Miss Dionne, welcome to the Reframe Brain podcast. So happy to have you on.
Hey, Erica, it is so wonderful to see you and your beautiful smile and all of your awesomeness. You're one of my sheroes.
Oh, you're so kind. Dionne, listen, I want to tell the audience, like, we actually had opportunity because we were in a group together, had opportunity to meet and engage with each other late last summer, I believe it is. So before we get into that, I would love for you to invite the Reframe Brain audience, Dionne, into your decision to expand into gerontology and the wellness space.
Well, it's quite simple. My maternal grandmother, Miss Eleanor, was instrumental in my development, my love of community, and my love of all things natural. So it is legacy work. I'm honoring my grandmother. So I saw how vibrant she was. And I started looking at some of my clients and I'm like, but my grandmother was 20 years older than you. I said, something has to break. Something has to stop. What can I do to get more people to age happily and healthily? Healthy. Yes. So that's where I started in gerontology because of my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, my beacon.
I love that. So you use the word legacy and beacon, and I love that you talk about you really were an observer of your grandmother as well. It sounds like there was a lovely relationship there, but for someone to really observe and then to carry that observational work into expanding as a person who is a licensed social worker, as someone who is involved in the community, is something that I really do applaud, and that you're actually bringing people into a place of wellness as they continue to mature in life. And so, as I was mentioning before, we had the opportunity to connect through a cohort that we were engaged with through Dr. Avis Jones through Weaver. Shout out to Dr. Avis. And quite simply, for the audience, I know she comes across stunning, but literally, and I'm not saying this to flatter, literally, you are stunning in person. I saw you and I was like, that sister is well put together. We connected through a bag, but literally you are stunning, Dionne.
Thank you so much.
Oh gosh, absolutely. So you are the living receipt of your work. And so with that, because your work has been focused on, as I mentioned before, being a licensed social worker, community care, and you have a husband you talked about, and he was there with you. So she and her husband are literally like this. Um, that you do care for your husband, for your family. Um, what specific experiences, and I believe that you already talked about this with being with this being legacy work with the impact of your grandmother's life, but what other set of experiences really led you to actually creating and cementing Age with Vibrancy? What things were you seeing specifically that needed to be addressed?
Well, for me, it all started. I actually was a director of education for a non-traditional high school for pregnant teens,
Mm.
and I got laid off. At that time, I was 200 pounds, miserable, stressed, exhausted. So I started my fitness journey after like the fourth attempt, to be honest. And I started in the back of the classroom, and things started to shape up, and my attitude started changing. My self-esteem started increasing. I started getting back to my vibrant self. I didn't even realize how much I had lost. And at that point, I ended up in the front of the class, stretching the class, and one of the personal trainers was like, "Hey, you got a niche for this. Get certified." Eh, I was like, "Okay, I'm going to." And when I got laid off, I was like, "Oh, well, there's no better time than now."
Mm.
So I believe I know it was God, because if I would have stayed where I was at, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. I had to be,
Wow.
the rug had to be snatched up under me, from up under me, for me to get back to what I know I'm supposed to be doing.
I love
It was like I was running from Nineveh. I was like, okay. So
that. Running from
he
Nineveh.
sent the well back and spit me back on Nineveh, and was like, now do what you know you're supposed to be doing.
I love
So
that. So you connected back to the essence of who you are, those observations that you made with your grandmother, Eleanor, that you eloquently spoke about earlier. And I also love that you were your first client with Aging with Vibrancy.
yes, honey, because it was rough. I was like, why? I couldn't sleep on my back. My knees were hurting. I was like,
Mm.
now my grandmother would come up out the grave and knock her
Mm.
head and look at me like, what are you doing? All this stuff that she taught me of how to garden, how to eat from the earth. I mean, we had
Mm.
distilled water. My grandparents had a distiller in the basement. We had to drink a gallon of room temperature water. This is in the 70s. We had wheat germ. Nobody, wheat germ. So yeah, I was like, all this stuff, I knew all of this, but it got lost in translation of the hamster wheel of
Mm.
trying to do all the things, and we can have it all. And everybody's not wired to have it all.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm not wired to have it all, and I'm happy with that. Like Dr. Avis
Same.
told me, yeah, pick a horse. Honey, I
That's
was on
it.
horses, dogs, cats, chickens. I was on everything. I was like, just as my husband says, just such a much. I was just doing. I was like, oh. And when I got back to me, it was so easy for me to get back on this path. And as I begin to age,
Mm.
I realized I don't need to do burpees anymore. It's just certain
Mm.
things that I can do to reduce the inflammation, to reduce that joint pain. And it just fell in place because I was living in my purpose.
I love that you said that, especially this tail end you talked about the burpees, because I used to do CrossFit. I was an avid CrossFitter, but I noticed when I crossed over into my 40s, it was a lot differently, and it was causing more pain than it was kind of like the joy I used to get out of doing CrossFit. That soreness that I really did enjoy, and I think that was not probably good for me, but I could not handle that. And so I moved into other spaces. So for those of you all that are listening, what you just said, Dionne, with regard to the burpees were not for you anymore. There were other things, other ways that you could reduce the inflammation, other ways that you could bring that level of pleasure, that level of fitness to your body without doing that level of hard exercise. And so, with you talking about going from the back of the class to the front of the class, essentially being your first client with Aging with Vibrancy, um, you also, along with the community work that you do, you also engage in coaching, which I really do love, because that goes back to from the back of the class to the front of the class, you being very much advised to listen, you should go ahead and get your certification in this, which is why you're a personal trainer. Would you share with the Reframe Brain audience? I love reading about this on Aging with Vibrancy, and we'll have the links so that people can go to Aging with Vibrancy, the link tree. Talk to us a little bit about, because you do specifically service women. Share with us a little bit more about, in your coaching capacity, you have a program that you created called the Vibrant Woman Project. What is that, and what can people expect out of connecting with the Vibrant Woman Project?
Well, it is simply put yourself back on top, because we are so fast to put ourselves at the bottom of our priority list. And I did it myself. Like you said, I was my first client. This is lived experience. This is trial and error. This is wasting money and finding out what works. So talking to my girlfriends, talking to my clients, and I just started noticing patterns. So I developed the Vibrant Woman, which is a 12-week program, and homework, self-reflection, putting your big girl panties on. So we tackle some of the tough challenges that women face with putting themselves first. How can we fix that? That's best for you. Then we do some nutritional coaching and some fitness. So it's a nice, well-rounded program to get you out of your head and back on track and into your purpose. So I love working with women in the program, and I learn something from all my clients. I grow, they grow, and it's just a beautiful community, and I'm just grateful.
I love that. And I love that you center women, and you do speak to how women, and we're socialized to really put ourselves last, to make sure that everyone else is well, our partners are well, if we have children, if we have people that we mentor, or if we're guardians, whatever that capacity is, even at work, make sure everyone else shines, and then we receive leftovers. But I love how what you do in your community over these 12 weeks is that you really do allow for that reflection piece. You do have work that's assigned so that they can be reflective within this particular cohort. And then there's the nutritional piece, which I don't know if there's enough focus around nutrition, how some of the things that we put into our bodies, like you talked about, you were, grew up drinking room temperature water. You're talking about in the 70s, which that's the best for our body. That's what our body really craves and desires. So I love that the Vibrant Woman Project really does center, and it does focus women specifically, and you help women to learn how to do that. Could you just, before we move on to our last piece, share with some of the women that you connected with, what some of the things that they've shared with regard to having completed? What have some of their outcomes been?
Well, one of my favorites, actually, she was my guinea pig, because I developed it. She was one of my clients. I said, look, honey, I need to test this out. I've tested it on myself. So let me test this out on you. And she started going through the work, and she would come back to her personal training sessions after she had done some of the work. And I realized that the light bulb had gone off, because she would come to her personal training sessions and complain and try to figure out how she can get out of doing things. And she was like, I'm self-sabotaging. Why am I self-sabotaging myself? So we were able to dig. And when she finished, and now she is, even her husband was like, what did you do? He was like, she stopped complaining so much, and just everything was someone else's fault. And she was like, I am finally at a point in my life when I can put the blame, on me. She said she owned up. She learned how to own up to what she was hiding from, just like myself. Hiding from your greatness. It's easy to hide from your greatness because it's scary to be in the front. It's scary to be successful, and quiet is kept. People are watching all the time. You may not believe that you are a mentor or a role model, but baby, honey, my clients come up to me all the time and like, I've been following you on social media and I followed you for a year before I even, and I was like, woo. And that's like my grandmother's little song, be careful little ears, what you hear, be careful little mouth, what you say. And I was like, wow. I was like, I'm thinking I'm under the radar. Ain't nobody, I'm just me, just doing my little silver sneakers classes. And no, I had created a community, didn't even realize it.
Look at that. You're living your core message. So for more people, I'm sure after listening to this episode that want to connect with you, that want to join, you do have a Facebook, YouTube community. Would you please share with the Reframe Brain audience how they can join your community? How can they connect with your work? If somebody says, wow, the Vibrant Woman project sounds like that would be great for me, great for my partner, maybe a great Mother's Day gift, birthday gift. Would you please share with the Reframe Brain audience how they can connect with those communities and if you have any events coming up?
Oh, yes. Well, the simplest way is Facebook, the traditional way. Dionne Jones, DIONNEJONES. And you'll see my face as soon as you do the search, so you know it's me. My YouTube channel is Dionne Jones. You can also find it under Age with Vibrancy. They're allowing me to do dual. So you can catch all my workshops, trainings, all of that on my page. And actually, tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., I am doing a live on why women need orgasms over 40.
What?
So that is going to be, yes, ma'am. That's part of Aging with Vibrancy, honey.
I love it.
So that's going to be 11 a.m. on my Facebook Live, Dionne Jones, and it also will be on my YouTube channel. And then Sunday, I'm going to do a live on Is Your Fork Creating Your Menopause Symptoms?
Wow.
And Tuesday, I'm having an information session called Graceful Menopause. So yes, that will be on Zoom. You can get all those links and everything on my Facebook page, Dionne Jones, or Age with Vibrancy on Instagram. So I'm excited to share this knowledge because like I've been talking to women and people are scared to talk about orgasms. People are scared to talk about menopause, and I'm getting messages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So once again, stepping into your purpose and not fear. Like I said, fear and faith can't live in the same spot. They can't. So
Amen.
I know it needs to be heard. So I'm excited to share it. And one more thing. So the Vibrant Woman Project is workwithcoachdj.com.
Workwithcoachdj.com.
Yes, they can schedule a Fab and Fit call and we can discuss if we are a great fit for each other. Because you can't work with everybody.
These are facts. Well, Dionne Jones, I love that you are taking the shame out of the topics that you mentioned. Orgasms, I believe the name of it is the Big O. So you're going to be talking about that. The menopause, which I've seen an uptick in the conversation around menopause with namely Oprah, really, she and Gayle King really taking a lead in having conversations around that. And so that you and other women are having these powerful conversations, breaking down the wall, because the game is that, the deal is that we are going to age, right? And definitely want to stay above as long as we are supposed to be above ground. And why not do it vibrantly? So you have been you've provided so much great information with how people can connect with you. Thank you for taking the sting and the shame out of conversations that really should be normal table conversations. And I'm so excited for the work that you're doing and what you're going to continue to do and the way that you're impacting not only women, but their partners as well to better understand the vibrant woman they're connected to.
Yes, and that's the next. I'm so excited that my husband will be joining the journey, because we're starting with women because we need to get our act together. And then, yes, it extends to the family, because if mama ain't right, the family's not.
Come on. We need harmony. And you are bringing that. Dionne Jones, Age with Vibrancy, a holistic and wellness community. Thank you so much for joining the Reframe Brain podcast, for bringing such depth to the conversation. And I want to say to the Reframe Brain audience, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please share it with someone that you know would be of benefit to this. However it is that they identify, it will be of benefit for them to expand their understanding of a person that they're in community with. And just remember, we do this work. We are on this journey, one beautiful breath at a time. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you again for connecting with today's The Reframe Brain podcast episode. This is Erica Savage, the founder and host, extending a personal invitation for you to join our community, where you can receive my 5 best brain health tips and a playlist curated with you in mind. Please go to thereframebrain.com. Thank you again, and be well.